How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Empire City on Quest and PC. This game is priced at $25, and I think it comes out on the day this video comes out, which is today. I've put many hours into this game. I'm like probably 10 hours so far. I've been playing the multiplayer, which I think is really good. But I'm going to go through everything I think you need to know about this game before you buy it, or if you're considering buying it. And if this video is helpful to you, please leave a like and get subscribed. So I just want to add that I've been a fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games ever since they first come about. Apart from the NES one, I thought that was terrible. It's like the ones on the Super Nintendo, the ones in the arcade. I loved all them, especially the multiplayer side of them. They're really great side-scrolling beat-em-ups. But now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles has come to VR. And I think Cortopia Studios have done a fantastic job of making you feel like you are really a turtle. You've got the full-body avatars. The weapons feel great. They've all got special moves that you kind of need to charge up through doing the combat. But what's most important is they do feel kind of unique to use, and each turtle can also be upgraded. There's 3 sandbox areas all connected by the main lair and the sewers, and I will talk about the lair in a minute because it's actually probably the best bit, one of the best bits about the game. It's really obvious when you're in the lair how much love they put into it. Like, I love the fact that you can go up to the arcade machine and select your character. It literally injects nostalgia when that happens. If you've ever played these games in the arcade or just seen the select screens from the Super Nintendo games, you kind of think, wow, this is really cool. But yeah, there's 3 sandbox areas. 2 of them are quite similar. I wouldn't say they're massive, but they're big enough to have things to explore. There's chess pieces to find, there's blueprints, and there's scrap. So when you find the blueprints, they're automatically loaded back at this computer, back at the lair, and here you spend the scrap to basically make the blueprints. And these can be health stims, smoke bombs, ninja stuff, you know, ninja stars. And also there's perks, and you can only use 1 perk at a time, which is a bit of a shame because there's some really cool perks. If you could stack the perks, I'd probably use more of them, but you end up just using the extra health perks all the time. And so far there's been like 4 of them. Raphael at the moment went from like 5 bars of health up to 11. So that made the game kind of easier to play, but it's still a challenge. You kind of get outnumbered pretty easily. And as you progress through the game, the enemies get more difficult, therefore you take more damage. And I died a lot in this game, and I appreciate the difficulty level of it. However, while talking about the combat, it's probably the worst part of the game. You can block and you can parry. So when you see, I think it is a yellow flash or a red flash, I can't quite remember, you can hit the sword back. But I already know that when people play this, they're just going to be waving their hands like a madman because it's the most effective thing to do with every character, especially when you start getting outnumbered. And if a boss, for example, and this is one of the best things as well, you get to fight Rocksteady, Bebop, and some other characters, and that's really cool. If you're a fan of the franchise, it's really cool to see these guys in there, and the voice work is absolutely superb in this game. It's probably one of the best. It's like Batman. It's so good. They've got all these different actors and people you'll definitely know, so I'll leave a link to the dev's diary if you want to see who the voice actors are, because it adds a layer of class to this and it makes the story far more compelling. But yeah, what happened is in the combat, you'll go around and you'll just wade through these guys wiggling your arms, which is a bit of a shame, but I know everyone will do that, and you can probably try not to do it, but trust me, that's what you'll end up doing. The story is really good, but it's the repetitive gameplay that lets this game down. And I can only talk about how this game felt to play. It was like watching a really long movie. Have you ever watched a movie where you thought this should have been over like an hour ago or something? And it does feel like that. And maybe that's on me because I like to collect everything. You know, I was really looking for the chess pieces. I was looking for the blueprints. I was looking for as much scrap as possible. And that just reminded me, there's been a ton of bugs that I found. One of them in particular was I collected all this scrap and I invested in lots of health stims, only to find when I loaded back into my game, everything I'd invested in has gone, but it had taken all the scrap. So that was a bit annoying, but the developers are very aware of a lot of issues. I had certain missions that didn't load up waypoints, so I had to completely restart the game for these to appear. There's multiple people letting them know different issues, so hopefully when it launches, you guys don't get any problems. But yeah, when it comes to the gameplay missions, it's very repetitious. You'll get your briefing, and then you'll go to the city, and you'll then go to a warehouse. And everywhere is called warehouse. I don't really know why. They don't always look like a warehouse, but I guess that's just what they're called. And then you go through that area, then you come out, then you go back to the lair. Inside 2 of the 3 areas is a crime wave going on. Every time you take down one of these machines that's guarded by the enemy, you knock the crime wave level down by 5%. So when I first went into this game, I decided to knock down every single crime wave to 0%. thinking something might happen, but actually nothing happens. At the end of the day, and I hate to say it, you can basically just ignore during the crime waves. There's only really one that's beneficial when there's a weapons cache. If you do that, you end up getting like loads of health stims and shurikens, which you can use on the missions. But outside of that, there's no real reward for bringing down the crime wave, which is a bit of a shame. I would really have liked it to be incentivized in some way, but it isn't. So you kind of you can easily just play this game and not do any of the crime situations, which, as I said, is a shame. But while saying all that, the boss fights are really good. They do break up the repetitious side of the game, which I mentioned. But the last thing I did after completing this game is play multiplayer. And trust me when I say, if you can, play this in multiplayer. It's definitely the best way to play it. Playing it single player, how can I put it? As I said, it's boring and repetitious. But multiplayer is definitely the way this game, I think, is meant to be played. And you can do the whole campaign with a group. And the reason this is fantastic is everyone who's a different turtle, their mouths move correctly, they have different expressions. You can steal each other's weapons, watching each other climb through the city, jumping over buildings and stuff, and fighting in general is fun. If I could go back and play this game with other people, I definitely would, because as a solo experience, it's pretty boring, unfortunately. Once all the amazing things like bendable pizza and lifting weights and messing around in the lair goes, and definitely standing in front of the mirror is absolutely amazing. All that's left really is some repetitious missions. But while talking about the multiplayer, what also doesn't happen is the enemies don't scale up to having more players with you. So you kind of find it even easier with other friends. One thing I noticed as well that they changed from when I played it earlier is there's no wall running, or at least I just can't activate it and I haven't seen it in the game in the tutorial. So that's a real shame, because I really like the wall running. It kind of gave the movement of the game a real natural flow, more of a natural flow than what it's got now, but it is very fast. You can constantly dash, you can like dash once in the air or dash on the ground, and overall, yeah, it's been fun to play, but I would heavily recommend you play it in multiplayer. And before I forget, there is no graphical differences between Steam VR and Quest 3. There is no graphical options, so you are getting exactly the same game on both platforms. So now on to my summary. As I said, I think $25 or £20 is a very fair price for what you get in this game. I think if you're going to play this multiplayer, I actually think if that's your intention, buy it day one. I think you're going to have a great time with friends. The combat's pretty lame, but it's a good story. It's kind of a good adventure, and it's definitely really good fun with friends. But if you're going to play this solo, I'm not sure. I think you might struggle like I did. I kind of got bored and found it a bit repetitious. So that's my recommendation. If you're going to play it multiplayer, definitely buy it day one. If you're going to play it solo, maybe hold off until it's on sale, because I think you might be a little bit disappointed. But there is a lot of things in here that fans of the series will love. I think they've done a really good job with the turtles themselves. The weapons feel great. Being able to upgrade the characters so you can like have more health, have more inventory slots is really cool. And overall, I'm really glad they made it. And I do intend to play this again in multiplayer. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Thank you ever so much for watching. If you want to pick it up on Quest, I'll leave my affiliate link pinned in the comments, or you can just use code GTVR and you can use that on all Quest games, most Quest games, and save 10%. And I'll see you on the next one.